Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield is best for you. First cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. A hold-up man has been hitting large supermarkets in your city. He's fast and is experienced. Your job? Get him. Tonight, I have a new report for you. A most important one, too. Because when you're asked to try a cigarette, you want to know, and you ought to know, what that cigarette has meant to people who smoke it all the time. After a full year of observation, a medical specialist who has given a group of Chesterfield smokers thorough examinations every 2 months for the full year reports no adverse effects to their nose, throat, or sinuses from smoking Chesterfield. More and more men and women all over the country are finding out every day that Chesterfield is best for them. Enjoy your smoking. Try Chesterfields today. They're best for you. Much milder, with an extraordinarily good taste.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, July 7th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Didion. My name's Friday. We were on the way out from the office, and it was 10:22 a.m. when we got to the corner of 67th Street and Jefferson Boulevard, the Lamont Brothers Market.
Oh, I guess I should have been scared. The officer said he wanted the money. I gave it to him. I wasn't going to mess with it.
Mr. Haskins?
Yes, I'm Haskins. Who are you?
Police officer, sir. My name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
Friday and Smith. Oh, yeah. You're the fellows that was talking about, huh?
Sir?
Well, the other ones, the cops in the car. They said there'd be a couple of detectives here. Have you seen the other cops yet?
Yes, sir. We talked to them. They've already put out a call. I wonder if we can get some information from you.
Sure. You want to come back here to the office?
Yes, sir.
Back this way. We can talk there. Just sit down.
Mr. Haskins, if you'd just tell us what happened, please.
Well, it's pretty simple. I was sitting here getting the money ready for the bank, and this guy came in. He said he wanted the money. Had a gun, so I gave it to him. That's it. Nothing more. He just took the money and left.
Mm-hmm. What time was it, sir?
Oh, around 8:30, 8:45.
How many men were there, sir?
Well, there was two. Two is all I saw. I don't think there was any more of them.
All right, sir. If you could just tell us exactly what happened.
Well, I told you they came in. They took the money.
I know, sir, but if you'd go into more detail.
Well, I came in about 7:30 this morning, like always. Checked things over the store to make sure that everything was okay. Then I started checking out the week's receipts.
Uh-huh.
Well, then, like I said, it must have been 8:45 or so, and heard this knock on the door. Thought there must be something wrong. The employees know not to bother me when I'm making up the deposit slips.
Yes, sir.
That's when I knew that something was wrong. Right away, I said to myself, Larry, there's something up. Something isn't good.
Yes, sir.
Oh, it was right. Went over to the door and unlocked it. There he was, this big fellow, stood there with a gun. The way his eyes lit up when he saw all that money laying on the desk.
You got any idea of how much money was taken, sir?
Well, it was about 6,000 cash. I guess another 1,500 in checks, more or less.
Uh-huh. I wonder if you'd give us a description of this man, could you?
Well, like I said, he was a big one, real mountain of a man, well over 6 feet. Had this gun, you know.
Uh-huh.
He stood there and said, this is stick-up. I want that money. And he pointed at the money with his gun.
Oh, what kind of a gun was it? Could you tell?
That's a great question. Of course I could tell. He had it right under my nose. Shotgun, sawed off. Had the stock cut down, too. Looked like a horse pistol. Well, he handled that thing. I wasn't going to mess with him.
Uh-huh.
I told him, take the money. Take it and get out, not to shoot that thing off. He did. Walked right over to the desk and scooped up the money. He had a paper bag. He put it down by the table. He scooped the money into it. Then he said to me to stay put. Not to try to yell or be brave. You didn't have to tell me that. I wouldn't have tried anything.
You said there was another man, is that right?
Yes, I saw him when I left. He was a little fellow.
Mm-hmm. About how tall would you say?
Well, it'd be kind of hard to tell. I didn't get very close to him.
Well, was he armed, too?
Yeah, he was carrying a revolver.
They drive a car, would you know?
Well, if they did, I didn't see it.
You went out after them, then?
I should say not. The way that one fellow waved that gun around, I stayed right here. He said to stay put, and that's just what I did.
What'd this big man look like?
Oh, a real mountain. He was 6'2" anyway. He must have weighed in at about 215.
Mm-hmm. How about his coloring?
It was dark. He had black hair. His eyes were dark. Not a brown. It was almost black. Real dark.
Mm-hmm. And when he spoke, did he have an accent, anything like that you might have noticed?
No, I don't think so. At least there was one. I didn't notice it. Mm-mm.
Did he have any scars or marks?
What?
Any scars or marks? Anything that might make it easier for us to identify him?
Yes, there was a little scar right here. Right over the bridge of his nose. Across here.
Mm-hmm. How about his clothes? What was he wearing?
Had a brown hat on, a brown jacket. Short kind of what you'd call that the real slick material, you know. Satin, like bowling teams wear.
Yes, sir.
Had on a pair of brown pants, brown shoes.
How was the other one dressed?
I couldn't tell you for sure. Like I said, I only saw him for a minute when I opened the door. He was out there telling the people to just mind their own business. Do that and they wouldn't get hurt. I didn't get a good look at him, but that big one, he was a real mountain.
Do you usually have this much money around in the store?
No, not usually. See, this was a long weekend. You know, the 4th was Friday, and whenever we have a long weekend, we usually have $10,000 or $12,000 in cash here. That's where the guys really goofed.
Sir?
Really missed the boat. You know, if they'd known what they were doing, they'd have gotten a lot more.
Well, how's that, sir?
The safe out in front. Another $7,000 out there. Guys missed it completely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure hope they don't come back for it.
$11:05 a.m. Frank and I checked with the officers in the radio unit that had answered the call. They'd gotten out a broadcast on the bandits and then started the canvass of the neighborhood, but they didn't find anyone who could give them any information. One of the clerks was able to describe the smaller of the two suspects, and we got out a local and an APB on them. Then we took the market manager downtown to look at the mug books. He told us that the larger man had worn gloves all the time he was in the store, so there was no need to look for fingerprints. The market bandits had been operating for the past 8 months. In that time, they'd held up 17 stores. Their method of operation was always the same. They'd hit only after a weekend or on the Monday following a holiday weekend. They'd hit only the larger supermarkets of the ranch type. Their operations had taken them all over the Southland. We'd tried to stake the markets that might be hit, but their field of operations had been so wide that it was impossible. 2:15 p.m. The market manager, Larry Haskins, started on the 6th mug book.
Sure, a lot of them.
Yes, sir.
All these fellas. All committed some crime, huh?
Yes, sir, that's right.
That one there looks like my brother-in-law. He's got a weak chin. Yeah, just like him. No? Mm-mm. So a few of these, and they all begin to look alike. Did you ever notice that?
Yes, sir.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yes, sir?
This fella here. This one right here, you see?
Mm-hmm.
That's the fella, no doubt about it. That's the one.
The market manager had identified Bernard R. Hanson as one of the hold-up men. The other employees of the store were called in, and they identified the same picture as being the man who'd held them up. We checked on his record and found that he'd been convicted for armed robbery and had been sentenced to the state penitentiary. He'd also served 6.5 years and had been released. We got the last known address of the suspect. Frank and I checked it out and found that Hanson had moved some months before, but had left a phone number where he might be contacted. 6:30 p.m. Frank put in the call.
Yes, sir. That's right, sir. You sure about that, are you? I see. Well, if there's anything more you can think of, I'd appreciate a call. That's right, Michigan 5211. Extension 2511. Smith, that's right. Or if I'm not in, ask for Joe Friday. No, sir, Friday, like the day in the week. That's right. All right, thank you very much, Doctor. Goodbye.
Anything?
Yeah, I talked to Dr. Corby. The place is a rest home. Hanson's there as a patient. Been there for the past 4 months.
Yeah.
Doctor says he's bedridden.
We checked on the rest home. It was a private sanitarium in the valley. We got in touch with the medical authorities and found that the head of the hospital was listed as Dr. James Corby. Frank and I drove out and talked to Dr. Corby and the rest of the staff. From them, we got the story that Hanson had been a resident of the home for the past 4 months. We found that he had a lung ailment and was confined to his bed 24 hours a day. The doctor showed us his records and charts. And from what we could tell, it would have been impossible for Hanson to have been the bandit. 3 weeks passed. On August 4th, the market thieves hit again, this time out in East Los Angeles. They got away with a little over $9,000. The manager of the market came downtown and checked the mug books. They again identified Hanson as the thief. We had the stats office make another run on the M.O. used. The result came back, and out of the thousands of cards checked, only one fitted the way the robbery had been carried out. Hanson's. We called the rest home and found that on the day of the holdup, the suspect hadn't left his bed. Another month passed. During that time, we ran down all leads. Informants were questioned, but they could tell us nothing. Apparently, the holdup men were hitting and then dropping completely out of sight until they hit again. Monday, October 27th, 8:05 a.m. I checked in for work.
Joe?
Yeah. Did you just get in?
Yeah, a couple of minutes ago.
Sure is a beautiful day, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you see Didion yet?
No. The way he talked yesterday, I don't want to.
Well, he's pretty hacked. I can't blame him too much. The guy sure seemed to have us stopped.
The thing I can't understand is that everybody's positive it's Hanson. Doesn't seem to be any doubt in their minds.
That doesn't make any sense. Did you get the kickback on the doctor?
Yeah, I came in late yesterday.
How about it?
Well, can't find anything on him. Family man, lives out in the valley, a couple of blocks from the hospital. Checked his bank account. He does pretty well, not great. No big deposits lately.
Did you check the AMA on him?
Yeah, he's not a member. They haven't got anything on him.
How about the rest of the staff out there?
Well, seems to be okay. 2 of the nurses have been there for over 2 years, and the male nurse was hired about 5 months ago.
That'll be just before Hanson got there.
Yeah.
Well, what's his record?
There isn't any. Not a thing on him in the files, nothing from Washington.
Well, I don't know. He seemed to come up out of the ground, pull the jobs, and then drop back in. Nothing on the partner?
No, thought I had something. Talked to an informant this morning while I had coffee. He thought at first that he knew who the little guy was, but then he remembered that the fellow he was thinking about died 2 years ago.
A hot shot, I'll get it. Well, let's go. I hit again. At 8:01 a.m. that morning, a pair of hold-up men had walked into a market out on Adams Boulevard and robbed the place of a little under $11,000. The manager gave us a description of the hold-up men. One was large, dark, and had a small scar over the bridge of his nose. The other was small, sandy-haired, and had no visible marks or scars. We showed the manager mugshots of Hanson, and he positively identified him as the larger of the 2 men. A local and an APB was gotten out on the pair, and then Frank and I drove out to the hospital to see Hanson. 8:46 a.m. We talked with Dr. Corby.
I know you men are trying to do your duty, but I've told you before, it couldn't possibly be Mr. Hanson. I know for a fact that he hasn't been out of his bed this morning.
Was it possible for him to get out of his room without you knowing it?
No.
Wonder if we could see him, Doctor.
No, I don't think that'd be possible. He's still asleep, and I can't have him disturbed.
Now, you're sure, though, that he couldn't have left the hospital without you knowing it?
Absolutely, no chance of it.
What time does Hanson generally wake up, Doctor?
Depends. Usually, though, I'd say he's awake by 9:30 or so.
Wonder if we could wait and talk to him.
If you like. I'll tell one of the nurses to call you when he's awake.
All right, sir, that'd be fine.
One thing, though, I must insist on.
What's that, Doctor?
He mustn't be excited. I don't think you gentlemen really know how ill Mr. Hanson is. If you had any idea, you wouldn't be out here with this ridiculous questioning.
Yes, sir, we understand. We're just trying to get this thing straightened out as soon as we can.
Fine. I'll go along with you part of the way, but I'll not have my patient disturbed. Any excitement would be very bad for him.
Well, don't worry, Doctor. We'll be as brief as possible.
Fine. If you'll excuse me now, I've got some things to do. I'll tell the nurse to call you when he wakes up. And remember, no excitement.
What do you figure, Joe?
Well, it's got me. The way he talks, every one of those witnesses are wrong.
Yeah, it's happened before. Get a positive identification and end up with the wrong guy.
Yeah, but all of them are so positive, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You the police officer?
Yeah, that's right. Why?
I'm Bob Jameson. I work here.
Oh, yeah, you're the male nurse, that right?
Yeah. You're out here about Barney Hanson, aren't you?
We want to see him, yeah.
What can we do for you?
It's about Barney.
What about him?
I don't think things are the way they look.
What do you mean by that?
I wouldn't want the doctor to know I've been talking to you. He'd raise the roof, probably fire me.
Well, what's it about, Jameson?
Like I said, it's about Barney.
Yeah.
Well, when I came here, they told me that Barney was pretty sick. Said they didn't expect him to live.
Yeah.
One day the buzzer rang in his room. You know he wanted something?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the doctor was on the phone. The other nurses were busy, so I started down the hall.